the great story of creation, the Supreme Spirit, through its infinite compassion, manifests itself in a myriad of forms to guide humanity. These manifestations, known as avatars, are not mere mortals, nor are they entirely distinct from humanity. They are divine emissaries, beings who embody Christ consciousness and take human form to lead us back to our divine origin. An avatar is a soul who embodies the Supreme Spirit's infinite light. In them, the transcendent spirit becomes fully manifest, making the light and wisdom of the supreme creative power available to humans in an accessible way. The Supreme Spirit, being infinite and formless, cannot be confined to a singular image or identity. Thus, when the Most High incarnates, it does so uniquely for the times, people, and needs of the era. Thus, every avatar's mission is shaped by the karmic conditions and spiritual challenges of their age, while their essence remains an eternal reflection of divine love and wisdom. It's important to understand that there are different types of avatars, each serving specific purposes in the divine plan. Some, like Jesus Christ or the avatars of Vishnu, Krishna, and Rama, are considered by their followers as the supreme manifestations of divinity. They embody the highest expressions of God's presence, taking on monumental roles in reestablishing the pathways of righteous order for humanity and offering liberation from suffering. These avatars carry unparalleled spiritual authority and are seen as complete reflections of the Supreme Spirit's infinite intelligence and compassion. Other avatars, while equally divine, serve in distinct ways as wisdom bearers or guides. For example, sages like Lao Tzu or Sri Yukteswar demonstrate divine truths through wisdom and the inner path of realization. These avatars may not display the cosmic grandeur of supreme avatars like Krishna or Yeshua, but they are still fully divine expressions of God, guiding humanity through the transformative power of truth, meditation, and self-discipline. The distinctions between these types of avatars underscore the infinite adaptability of the Supreme Spirit. While all avatars carry the light of Christ consciousness, the forms they take and the ways they express their divinity vary widely. Supreme avatars tend to embody both the might and mercy of the Creator, often demonstrating miraculous powers and reshaping the moral and spiritual fabric of the world. Wisdom avatars, on the other hand, illuminate the path of divine realization for individuals, focusing on inner transformation rather than outward acts of divine intervention. This dynamic interplay between the transcendent and the immanent is what makes the role of the avatar so vital. They remind humanity that while God is beyond all creation, transcending all forms and forces, the light of God dwells within all beings. Through their presence and teachings, avatars awaken humanity to this truth, guiding us to recognize that divinity is not a distant reality, but an intimate essence waiting to be realized. The concept of an avatar emerges from the understanding that humanity often loses its way. Caught in the illusions of Maya, the cosmic delusion, and avidya, individual ignorance, people stray from the path of righteousness. In such times, the Supreme Spirit intervenes, descending into the material world in a form that humanity can recognize and relate to. These avatars bridge the infinite and the finite, carrying the light of divine love and wisdom into the shadows of human existence. Now, one major thing many may be wondering at this point has to do with the nature of Jesus and who he was in relation to other avatars. According to Christian tradition and belief, Jesus would be seen as an incarnation of God above all avatars. In order to make sense of this, we might consider a few things. First, in the Gospels, we see Jesus speak to himself as both the Son of Man and the Son of God. These titles reflect distinct yet complementary aspects of his identity, and this can better help make sense of who he was. As the Son of Man, Jesus represented his human personality, the relatable and accessible human self. And as the Son of God, he referred not to his mortal shell, but the Supreme Spirit speaking through and as him. This dual recognition enabled him to proclaim with divine authority, "I and my Father are one." But Jesus isn't alone in this, and this is why this is so important. In the Bhagavad Gita, we see Krishna proclaim, "Among words, I am the syllable Om. I am the beginning, middle, and end of creation." In fact, Krishna also says this, "Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and an increase in unrighteousness, at that time I manifest myself on earth. To protect the virtuous, to destroy the wicked, and to reestablish Dharma, I appear in every age." Could it be that it's the same divinity speaking through both Krishna and Christ? Many today believe this to be the case, especially because the word Krishna itself has an etymological parallel to the word Christ. The voice of the avatar is the voice of the Supreme Spirit, guiding humanity, regardless of the incarnation. While avatars are divine, they often choose to live as humans, experiencing the joys and sorrows, trials and triumphs of earthly life. They will often even take on new karma of the present age when they incarnate, working through it in their life in order to better relate with the suffering of the people of that era. This is not due to limitation, but to show humanity that divinity is accessible within the human condition. By overcoming the challenges of the day, they demonstrate the potential within every soul to transcend suffering and realize its true nature. Consider the life of Jesus Christ. He was born into a humble family, lived among the poor and the marginalized, and faced persecution and death. Yet through it all, he radiated love, forgiveness, and faith in the divine plan. His crucifixion and resurrection were not merely historical events, but profound spiritual teachings, illustrating the triumph of spirit over matter and the eternal nature of the soul. Similarly, Lord Buddha, another incarnation of Vishnu after Krishna, was born a prince, but renounced his royal life to seek the truth. Through years of meditation and inner struggle, he attained enlightenment, discovering the path to liberation from suffering. His life showed that spiritual awakening is not reserved for a select few, but is a possibility for all who seek it earnestly. Many may wonder about the birth of Christ, being born of a virgin. He was very unique among avatars. Does that make him more supreme than others? Well, it is said that avatars can incarnate in a number of ways, including through Immaculate Conception, or not. While we're all likely familiar with the virgin birth of Christ, we might also consider the lesser known story of Lord Buddha, which took place only 500 years before. Few know that Buddha was also said to have been born of a virgin. The story goes like this. Queen Maya, lying down on her royal couch, fell into a divine dream. In this dream, the 4 guardian angels came and lifted her up, along with her couch, carrying her to the Himalaya mountains. There they clothed her in divine garments, anointed her with perfumes, and adorned her with divine flowers. Nearby stood Silver Hill, within which was a golden mansion. The angels spread a divine couch in this mansion, positioning its head towards the east, and laid Queen Maya upon it. At the same time, the future Buddha, now transformed into a superb white elephant, wandered nearby on Gold Hill. Holding a white lotus in his silvery trunk, the elephant descended from Gold Hill and ascended Silver Hill, approaching from the north. Trumpeting loudly, he entered the golden mansion, circled Queen Maya's couch 3 times with his right side toward her, and then struck her on the right side, appearing to enter her womb. This act marked the Immaculate Conception of Buddha. When Queen Maya awoke the next day, she recounted the dream to King Suddhodana, who summoned 64 eminent Brahmins to interpret it. The Brahmins declared that a divine child had implanted itself in her womb. They prophesied that if this child chose to remain in the household life, he would become a universal monarch. But if he renounced worldly life and embraced asceticism, he would become a Buddha, destined to dispel the clouds of sin and ignorance from the world. An avatar's life is a testament to the unity of the divine and the human. Through their words, actions, and very presence, they reflect the infinite love, wisdom, and power of the divine. They remind us that divinity is not something external, but an innate reality that we too can realize. Across all incarnations and teachings, they remind us of the unity of all life. Jesus proclaimed to love your neighbor as yourself, because in truth, we are all connected and one. Similarly, Krishna taught Arjuna to see the divine in all things, transcending the dualities of life. Love is the central message of every avatar. It is not an emotion, but a divine force that unites and uplifts. Jesus demonstrated this through his acts of healing and forgiveness, while Krishna emphasized bhakti, the path of loving devotion to God. Avatars stress that salvation is not achieved through external rituals, but through inner transformation. This requires transcending the ego, purifying the mind, and aligning with Christ consciousness, the true light of the soul within. The Buddha's Eightfold Path and Jesus' Sermon on the Mount both emphasize this inward journey. The impact of an avatar's life extends far beyond their physical presence. Their teachings resonate across generations, inspiring countless souls to seek the truth. Even after they leave the physical world, their spiritual presence continues to guide those who call upon them with devotion. As we discussed in a previous chapter, once attaining final and complete liberation, a soul is free to participate in reality transcendentally at whatever level they want. This would surely be the level of mastery that Jesus has, complete unity with God. And so this is why so many people have reported seeing him in mystical visions at significant moments in their lives, fully changing their lives forever. Christ is alive, existing transcendentally beyond the material realm, but able to appear in any dimension if he so chooses. Yet the person of Jesus, meaning his ego or personality, And the spirit that he is, while eternally one thing, also can be identified uniquely. And this is the mystery of Christ consciousness. While the spirit is fully embodied in an avatar, it is not confined to them. It is a universal reality present within every soul, waiting to be awakened. Avatars remind us of this truth, not by asking us to worship them, but by urging us to discover the divine within ourselves. The lives of avatars challenge us to rise above our limitations and embrace our divine potential. They show us that we are not separate from God, but are in fact his children, capable of reflecting his light and love in the world. By following their teachings, we can overcome the illusions of the material world and realize the eternal joy and freedom of spirit. The coming of an avatar is not an event of the past, but an ongoing reality. Even today, their presence can be felt by those who seek it. They come not to create new religions, but to restore the eternal truths that unite all faiths. In doing so, they remind us that the ultimate purpose of life is to realize our unity with the divine and to break free from the shadows of illusion.